Seth Goldstein cut his teeth in the newsrooms of Pennsylvania and New Jersey before burnout pushed him to make a bold pivot into digital marketing. That pragmatic move became a thriving agency now in its 15th year. Today, he channels that same journalistic curiosity into his podcast, Entrepreneur's Enigma, candid conversations with founders who've been in the trenches. Please welcome this week's guest, Seth Goldstein. And welcome to Freelancer Training on How to Find More Direct Clients, a podcast hosted by myself, Jason Willisley. This is the show that makes digital marketing easier and more fun using the perfect combo and just the right dose of business strategy and tech. I'm your host, Jason Willisley. I'm a digital marketing specialist, and today I'm really thrilled to welcome my special guest, Seth Goldstein. Seth brings a unique perspective to our discussion. Hey, Seth, welcome to the show. How are you doing
How's
today?
it going, Jason? Good to see you, buddy.
Thank you so much for coming. Could you as an icebreaker, tell the audience your personal and business journey? I know you've switched, you've
Oh, I've
niched
done a
into
lot,
something
yeah.
else. And what's your unique vision for the future of your industry? How did you get into
Oh,
doing what you're
wow.
doing now?
Yeah, so I went to university, left with a journalism degree, did journalism for about 6.5 years, massive burnout. Enjoyed every minute of it, but then it was just kind of overdid it. Left that, it was either go into PR or go into marketing. At that point, I was like, I'm gonna go into marketing. I had been designing websites on the side for since the 90s. So I was like, all right, it's time to actually dive in and do it for a living. 2008, it was like the best time to start a business because no one was hiring because it was the global recession, the banking crisis. So I started my business then, and it's been what, 20 years since diving in, pivots there, here, pivots there. Started just doing web design, went into SEO, all that kind of stuff. So
Wow.
it's been a fun journey. Yeah.
So you started out as a journalist. Let's talk about journalism. How did that shape the way you think about your job today in digital marketing? Because journalism kind of trains you to sniff out the story, cut the noise,
Hmm.
write for the
Yeah,
audience. In those digital marketing, those instincts are like gold dust. So did that background sort of influence how you approach content creation, how the way you frame a message, you hook a reader? And what are the habits
absolutely.
from the newsroom you still rely on today? Could you just kind of compare and contrast the two
Yeah,
niches?
yeah. Journalism, it kind of made you think critically and quickly and
Yeah.
critically. Because when you're a journalist, the story happens. You can't just wait for it to, you can't just wait for it to kind of formulate in your brain and then put it down paper. You got to act fast, get the story out there, get it into the paper, get it onto the web, all that kind of stuff. And the kind of same thing goes to digital marketing. You can't sit on things. You can't just wait for things to happen. So I had to kind of, adapt as a journalist to do stuff like that. And then I had to adapt again to be a, digital marketer, but I apply a lot of what I learned in journalism to being a digital marketer because you got to think on your toes because the algorithm is always changing. So,
Let's move on to search. So we've got Google, we've got
oh,
Bing,
wow.
we've got
Yeah.
AI search. I mean, what the hell is happening these days? And should small business owners like me be worried? Search is shifting faster than most businesses can track. From where
Oh my
you're
God.
sitting, I
Yeah.
mean, what's the real story? Is this evolution or disruption? And what should a small business owner actually do about the evolving trend right now with search?
It's a little bit of both. I think no one even think Google and Claude and ChatGPT. I don't think anyone quite knows where are going day to
Hmm.
day. Things are constantly evolving in the AI search world and in regular search. And so when you think about it, you need to dive in head first and treat it as traditional search. Follow the basic tenets of SEO, right? Good content, get backlinks, answer the visitor's questions succinctly and to the point. All that still applies in AI search because only thing is that ChatGPT and Claude and Perplexity and Google Gemini, they're just going to stuff those answers into their answer engine and dish it out. But the idea is
Mm.
that you want to get that citation so people want to read more you'll get, the click through on over there. You're not gonna get as many click throughs as you would in traditional SEO, where the click was the gold. But if you provide good information, you will get some click through. But then thinking about it in the long run, it's disrupting everything. Everyone's trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
Yeah. So my favorite LLM is Claude Pro. I actually think free Claude is better than paid ChatGPT. It's just my opinion, but
Yeah, I like
what?
Claude in general. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Claude. I like the projects. I like the artifacts. That's what I'm on all day, sort of doing the productivity amplifying stuff. I do the human review and briefing, and then the final QA.
Yeah.
What is your favorite LLM, and why do you like Claude as well, like me?
I love Claude. Claude just seems to
Cool.
work. I mean,
Yeah.
they're having some bandwidth issues lately. At the time of this recording, they're having some bandwidth issues because it's become popular because they got on the wrong side of the U.S. government, for better or
Right.
for worse. And because of that, everyone's saying, "Oh, that administration doesn't like it. Oh, let's go use it," kind of thing. So they're struggling with the bandwidth a little bit. But
Yeah.
overall, Claude just answers the questions correctly. It's not too trying to be pleasing to people, like, "Oh, you're so fantastic, thank you for, oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, let me try it this way." It gets to the point, gets the stuff done, and if it's wrong, it apologizes, which I think is kind of funny because it's a machine.
Yeah.
But it's, "Oh, I'm sorry, let's try it this way." And I think Claude, their data set is just better. I don't know
Yeah.
what makes it better because they all sucked in the same crap from the internet, but the way it dishes it back out and formulates ideas, it seems to be a lot more linear and to the point.
So, I mean, the digital landscape compared to when you started out, you've been rolling, I'm guessing, about 20 years. You're about my age.
Yeah,
What's the biggest change most people miss? I mean, everyone talks about the tools, new platforms, new algorithms, new formats, but the deeper shifts are often harder to name, right? What's the change that doesn't make the splash headline, but is fundamentally altered about how you do your work? And what do you wish more business owners knew about where things are actually heading right now?
I think people miss the mark when they're like, "Oh, it's new and shiny." It's Nothing's changed. It's how it's being dished out that's changed, but the fundamentals are still there. The fundamentals of providing good content,
Yeah.
providing answering the questions, being quick to respond to reviews, answering problems, talking about, what you do on social media. All that stuff hasn't changed. Everyone's like,
Right.
"Oh, it's AIO, AEIO, ABCDFG, whatever the heck they want to call it today." And it really hasn't changed that much, just the way it's being shown to people and how people interact with it. But basic SEO is still the biggest thing you need to focus on, for at least for now. Now, by the time this comes out, who the heck knows? Tomorrow, something can completely radically shift and be completely different. But that's one thing I've seen steadfast is that if you follow the good practices, you're going to show up in the answer engines.
Could you talk us through, I mean, talk me and the audience through your client acquisition process? How do you get new business? Is it referrals from old business? Is it
Mm.
word of mouth referrals? Do you have any sort of lead
It's all
magnets that
networking for
really,
me. It's
right?
all
Do you do that?
networking and SEO and outreach. And so I make myself known. I talk on LinkedIn. I share my ideas on LinkedIn. I put out a newsletter. I put out podcasts, Entrepreneurs Enigmas, my big podcast I've been doing for the past, was it 5 years now? Jeez. Wow. It's been a while. Lost track
Yeah.
of how long I've been doing it, but I'm on like 325 episodes of that show.
Wow,
And
that's pretty
it's all
good.
about networking. It's all about networking. It's all about who you
Yeah.
know and chatting and connecting and say, "Hey, I can help you out with this," all that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah. I just hit a 115 episodes, I think, so that sounds
wow.
way ahead of me.
No,
That's
if you're
that's
past 10 episodes, you've made it. And
right.
you're
Most
over
podcasts
100.
fold after tempo. Yeah, I read that stat. Yeah, and
Most
I
fold
know.
after between 3 and 10. Because people are like, "This
Right.
is too much work." Once you
Yeah.
get into a groove with podcasting and you get your flow down, it,
Yeah.
you're on it for the long haul. It's just you have to get to that point where you're in a flow, you have your SOP, your standard operating procedures set in stone so that you can just sit down, bang out an episode real fast.
Totally. I agree. And I actually have a VA who helps me do a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
that, so I'm quite lucky. Okay, so some final five questions,
Yes.
Seth, or maybe just final three. What is one motivational tip you abide by daily? What do you do sort of routine daily to keep your motivation
Oh,
high?
that's a good one. I sit down and even though I have everything in Google Calendar, all my to-dos are in Google Calendar, I always write them down by hand.
Okay.
Always write them down so that the night before or the day of, I write them down so that it's something about hand writing stuff down. Even if I can't
Yeah.
read my own damn handwriting, which is half the problem. I'm like, what did I just write? The act of writing it down, something that connects in the brain. So it's important to yeah, have it digitally so you can get it on your phone when you're out and about. But write it down on on a note card what you have to do today. And there's nothing better than crossing something off. Saying I did
Right.
that. Check. It feels good to do the check movement. So
Yeah. Wow. You handwrite your to-do list. That's interesting. Yeah, I do mostly Google Calendar, but the
yeah.
to-do list, a lot of it is in my head as well, the sort of time for money work.
So but yeah, my thing is
Uh,
between my head, Google Calendar, and on the note card, I'm
okay.
bound to remember what the hell I have to do.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no excuses. Seth, what's the best business advice you've ever received? Maybe from a mentor, or maybe you've given someone else, like a mentee, somebody you're mentoring.
Yeah.
What's the best business advice you ever received or given?
Well, it's two parts. Keep going, and
Right.
because failure, it's only failure if you give up. Like, don't be afraid of the pivot. If you need to
Yeah.
adjust things, I know we were talking prior about how you were doing translations, and now you're like, okay, I got to pivot a little bit because that whole industry is changing. Don't be afraid of the pivot. It's not a bad thing. It's only failure is if you give up, wash your hands, and walk away and say, I'm not doing this anymore, and go get a job. If you want to,
Mm,
sit down, figure out where things are going, and readjust. And if you keep, and you might have to readjust three or four times in the life cycle of your business, if not more. But that was one of the biggest tips I've ever given and gotten from people is don't be afraid of the pivot.
yeah, and failure is part of the journey, right? You have to
Yeah.
fail, pick yourself up. We both failed tons. I failed a lot. I'm sure you
Oh
have
my
as well.
God. In 20 years, if I can't count that many times on my hands.
Yeah.
You try something, you gotta try stuff. And then
Yeah, you
sometimes
have
it's
to
like
try stuff
you have
out.
to know when to quit, pivot though. You have to know
Yeah,
like, all right, this is not working. That's not
exactly.
and pivot at that point. Don't stick to it if it's not working. So,
Totally. There's a Friends episode all about pivot with the sofa. Do you remember
oh,
that? Where they say pivot?
pivot,
They're
pivot.
getting, yeah, that's, I'm just thinking of that sofa
No,
going
yeah,
up the
our
stairwell.
generation that when you say pivot, that's the first thing we think of is that
Yeah,
episode.
absolutely. Yeah, Friends, late 90s, totally. Using just one word, how would you describe AI? You said you're a Claude, not like I am. How would you describe AI in just one word? Just one word.
Befuddling.
Befuddling. Oh, I like that. That's a good one.
That
Yeah,
literally just
befuddling.
popped into my head because every day is something new with it, and
Yeah,
it's totally befuddling. It's like, all right, now we're doing this. Okay, we're gonna try this now. It's like what used to take years became months. Now it's become
right.
days and hours of changes to things. Like it's like whoa.
What's the worst investment you've ever made, Seth? What's the worst investment you ever made?
Well, worst investment I never was to not invest in Google. That was the thing I didn't do is when went public back in the like what was it like early aughts. I had an
Early
opportunity to buy some
2000s.
shares, even
Yeah.
just buy one share for like a few $100. I was in college and I was like, I should buy a share just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
I didn't. So it was the worst
Why?
investment that it was the worst thing I did that would have been a good investment. How about that for spending that
Yeah,
on its
it's the worst investment you never made. Yeah, you never made.
yeah,
Exactly.
that was the worst part is I never made that investment. Exactly.
Yeah, had you invested in one share, you're talking a pretty good return today.
Yeah, one share
Um,
even. I mean, like you think about it, you buy two or three, it's like wow. Oh well. Hindsight's
yeah, but
2020.
Well, even that would have been a lot of money back in the day, back in the early 2000s. That would have been quite a shell out.
Yeah,
Um, Yeah, I can say I can give a similar story. Seth, what is one sort of key takeaway? We talked about quite a few things, journalism,
yeah.
digital marketing, AI search. What is one key sort of notable takeaway you'd like the audience to go away with after listening to this episode?
Don't be afraid of AI. Embrace it, learn it, how to use it, play with it. Don't let that take over everything you do, and always keep a human in the loop. Always check. Don't just like say, "Give me a blog post about this," and then post it out there. Say, "Hey, let's brainstorm a blog post about this." Then edit it and make it your own. Like use it as a starting point. Don't use it as a whole. Don't replace. Don't let AI replace you. Is pretty much what I'm saying. But don't be afraid to
Mm.
use it though.
Seth, where can our listeners connect with you and learn more about your work and expertise? Is there a LinkedIn or a website? What's the best
Best
place?
place to go is social.sethgoldstein.me. That's all my links.
Social.sethgoldstein.me.
Social.sethgoldstein.me. Yeah.
We are going to put that in the show notes. All right. Thank you very much. Let's wrap it up for today's episode of Freelancer Training on how to find more direct clients. Stay tuned for more engaging discussions on the ever evolving landscape of language and digital marketing. Until next time, remember what I always say, stay on your game and future proof your career in the AI digital era. I will see you next time.
Here's a fun fact about Jason. Jason is a big Indiana Jones fan. Thanks for tuning in to the How to Find More Direct Clients Than You Can Poke a Stick At podcast. We'll be back soon. In the meantime, why not head over to www.entrepreneurialtranslator.com to access all our tools and resources to monetize and future-proof your freelance translation business. And don't forget to hit the plus button in Apple Podcasts or iTunes, or subscribe in Spotify to be notified when new episodes drop. For regular tips and insights, business strategy, or marketing techniques straight to your inbox, please sign up at www.entrepreneurialtranslator.com.